The weapon kits of Splatoon 2 are far from perfect, and quite a lot of them are lackluster. But what if that wasn't the case? Today we're going to explore a world where every single weapon has the perfect sub and special for it. Now, this might be a surprise to you, but I'm not actually an expert in every single weapon in the game, so I asked other top-level players what they would want for their specific weapons. At the end, I'll also go over what the most picked subs and specials were, as well as if any weapon kits didn't need changing to be perfect. But with that all being said, let's get started. First up is Slosher, picked out by Kyo of FT1. The Burst Bomb makes a ton of sense for both mobility and combo potential, and it's what it had in Splatoon 1. The special is Suction Launcher, which is both great for painting and support, but can also be used aggressively, since the 30 damage of the bombs combos great with the 70 damage of the Slosher itself. Tri-Slosher will be the first weapon on this list to keep the exact same kit, with the vanilla Tri. Burst Bomb is obviously great for combo potential and mobility, just like it was with the vanilla Slosher, and that's been proven in Splatoon 2. While Ink Armor is a bit of a supportive special, Tri can still do a lot with it, and it can be used for a quick ink tank refill. So as long as you have another armor weapon on your team, it ends up being perfect for it. Moving to the Sloshing Machine, while it would of course keep its Fizzy Bomb, as that's great for both movement options, combo potential, helping with paint, and is in general the best sub-weapon Machine has ever had, Bubble Blower would be replaced as a special, giving it an insta-pop combo, and really just giving it something that isn't Splashdown, giving even more aggressive and supportive potential. Next up is the Explosher, picked out by Brian, formerly on Ghost Gaming and Creme Fresh, with the Burst Bombs being of course great for, you guessed it, combo potential and mobility. The special would also be 10 missiles. Even a little bit of a hit for missiles would be great at comboing with Explo, give it a quick ink tank refill, and just overall be a way more useful special than Heavy Baller. Next up is Blob, picked out by Bagel, formerly on Saynar and Team Climb, who went with both Fizzy Bomb and Ink Armor. Obviously a very spammable high pain output sub to match with the main weapon would get a ridiculous amount of Ink Armors to support its team. Sounds very annoying. Next up is the Mini Splatling. It would keep its Burst Bomb as it's great for fighting when it doesn't have a charge or poking people at a distance, but the special would be changed to Ink Armor. While both armor and missiles are very useful for it, Ink Armor would be a lot easier to slot into most comps, since Mini is really good at getting a high output of them, easily being able to outclass options like the N-Zap. While Heavy already really likes Booyah Bomb for its high output and survivability, Ink Mines would elevate this kit, giving them tools to set up to do extra chip damage to opponents and control even more space. There's no question that Hydra really likes deployable sub-weapons with how long it charges, and Beacon is definitely the best one of those, giving even more options for your teammates to jump in. While Baller is definitely an unconventional choice, the thought process behind this is a tool to be able to play more aggressively and get out alive, in which Booyah Bomb keeps you stationary. If only it was Light Baller. Ballpoint is paired with Sprinkler to help make up for its poor long-distance paint, and a deployable is still generally pretty useful for Splatlings. The special would be 10 missiles in order to deal with Charger or other longer range threats, to move them out of position and allow Ballpoint to output much more pressure. Finally is the Nautilus. Burst Bomb would once again be a great combo and mobility sub. I wonder how many times I'm gonna have to say that throughout this video. Special of Missiles is, like with Ballpoint, made to displace a longer range threat so the Splatling can output pressure without having to worry about long distance snipers. Next up is the Rollers, picked out by Omega, a player currently playing on Good Morning. Burst Bomb and Baller is not only an insane combination because the explosion combo potential that's not even on any main weapon in this game, but on top of that, having Light Baller is incredibly useful for a weapon like Carbon that likes to dip in and out of fights. I don't even need to explain Burst Bombs with Carbon. If you played against a Carbon deco, you probably know. Rag Roller would be paired with Fizzy Bomb, giving it both a poking bomb and a way to move around the map with its paint trail, and Suction Bomb Launcher for some more versatility, since the Fizzy Bomb can allow it to charge the special without much worry. Flings would be paired with Beacon to help it get back in. It would certainly be nice for it considering the weapon's a bit ink hungry, and 10 missiles, because as we all know too well, Vertical Flick is insane at spamming them. Lastly is the Dynamo that I personally picked out. Burst Bomb is pretty much universally seen as the best sub-weapon for it, being great for painting its feet, painting walls, comboing with the flicks. It's just all around great and useful for it. Booyah Bomb gives you some survivability tools, but mainly this is a great option at dealing with opponent's special, really elevating this as a support weapon. Inkbrush Nouveau is already pretty good, but Lucas from Uprising would like to elevate this kit by giving it, you guessed it, Burst Bombs, giving it a real way to finish off people at a long distance and occasionally help with mobility, though Inkbrush doesn't need it as much. Inkbrush though is a weapon that of course loves to be in your backline and harass you for as long as possible, so having Light Baller just works wonders for it. The Octobrush sub-weapon is the same reason as the Inkbrush, though I guess I can add that Burst Bombs are also useful for painting walls, which can be difficult for brushes at times. Like with Inkbrush, the Inkjet special in the vanilla Octobrush kit actually works out pretty well for it, and I don't think it really needs to be changed. On top of that, that it could even combo well with burst bombs in some situations. Next up is the Chargers, with kits made by Ice, a player formerly on FT Win and currently on Starburst. The Squiffer would get Suction and Ink Armor. The bomb could be useful for poking and charging an armor in situations where the Charger might have a hard time fighting shots, and with its exceptional paint and painting range, it would get a high output of armors that both it and its teammates could take advantage of. YouTuber would get a very similar kit, Burst Bomb being the main difference since YouTuber can play off of partial charges more easily, giving it a combo tool or a way to escape if it goes too far in. In the current situation of an ink-hungry MPU Bamboo, it generally doesn't use subs as much as it tries to output a lot of pressure throughout the match, but curling is really nice for an escape, and missiles are still nice for a quick ink tank refill or small bit of chip damage, so Bamboo will be keeping its original kit. Splat Charger will also be keeping its Fire Fin kit, as well as great for both being able to peek longer range threats or defend in close range, while Bomb Rush gives it a painting tool that can allow its team to take back space. Does well already. Inkstorm already works pretty well for E-Liter as a quick ink tank refill and a way to paint or pressure areas it can't normally get to, but Burst Bomb would be an even better sub, giving it close range defensive options. I mean, this should be a surprise, that's what E-Liter was known for in Splatoon 1. Next up, the Dualie class, picked out by Jared, also on Starburst. Starting up with the Dapple Dualie, its beacon would still be pretty useful for a close range niche when trying to stand out, but 10 missiles would be a much better special for it, as it could be used at a large distance and be able to farm another one immediately, rather than having to use a bomb rush and wait for it to run out. The normal Dualies work pretty well for burst bombs for reasons that I feel like I've said 1,000 times so far, but Suction Rush would be a more versatile special that could allow it to compete with shooters and give it a bit more painting tools that it currently lacks. Splat Bomb is already pretty useful on Dualie Sculptures, even with its ink efficiency since it's really good at poking or dealing with objects. However, its ink armor where this special would jump up a bunch of tiers, allowing it to be played both more supportively and aggressively. Small fun fact, before Sculpture was released, this was originally one of its beta kits, so this almost became an actual thing. With Glooga's slow but powerful rolls, Splash Wall works really well as a way to protect itself and put more pressure, but Inkjet would be an even better special. Obviously, you can dodge roll upon your landing to make it safer, but it would also give Glooga a more versatile aggressive option, allowing it to get a little bit extra mobility. Finally, the Tetra Dualies, with the kit picked out by Isabel, a Tetra 1 trick who's gotten some recent top-level results over teams like Jackpot. Burst Bomb would enhance the weapon's mobility a ton and give it a way to finish off opponents who try to run away from it, but Baller would do a great job not only keeping it alive, but allowing it to go even further into enemy lines. And of course, Burst Bombs after a Baller explosion are an insane combination. Regular Brella would easily benefit from Burst Bomb, as not only is it great for chip damage, but it doesn't use a lot of ink, and Brella is a very ink-hungry weapon. And of course, with the Inkjet, you can shield your landing, and it gives you a more mobile, aggressive option. Keen, the top-level player on Good Morning, will be picking out the other two weapon kits, and the 10 one is another nightmare. We're giving a slower weapon a mobility and combo tool, but not only that, we're giving it Booyah Bomb, meaning it has an option for even more survivability, making this 10 extremely hard to kill. And for the Undercover Brella, we have our third Brella with the Burst Bomb, because it's just great for that weapon class, even better for Undercover since it does so little damage. And Ink Armor works great as obviously assist bring back your shield, and it's great for both you to fight and for your teammates, making it a great supportive option. Next up with the Blasters, we're gonna go back to Kyo for the Luna, with Burst Bomb and Baller for all the same reasons as it was with Tetra, except this time, Burst Bombs can directly combo with the main weapon's indirects. Clash Blaster also likes this combo heavy sub-weapon, but instead, 10 of missiles will give it a little bit of an approach option, and with Burst Bomb, it should be a little bit easier to farm them during a match. Splat Bomb is great for the longer to mid-range blasters, as it's a great poking tool that can both deal damage to objects, trap people, or force them to move. And Inkjet is of course great for an aggressive potential that can allow you to go more above ledges and pressure people at a larger distance. It's absolutely perfect for the normal blaster. Range Blaster is a little bit too ink-hungry for Splat Bomb, but Torpedo would have that same combo potential, only it would be cheaper and the 35 hit would be easier to combo with the 65 or higher indirect damage. Ultra Stamp would make up for the lack of damage to objects, giving it a way to break stuff like Booyah Bomb, Baller, or the Rainmaker Shield. Rapid is pretty simple. Burst Bombs being the ultimate combo sub with the main weapon would be even better than Torpedo on the Kenser Rapid, and 10 missiles would be great for a quick ink tank refill, poking long-range weapons out of position, and a bit of tick damage to combo with the main or sub weapon. Oh, and by the way, Rapid Pro doesn't have enough differences to where the kit would be changed, so Rapid Pro would get this exact same kit. Next is the Spray Shooters, this one being picked out once again by Brian. The Sploosh 7 has a really almost perfect kit for it, but Inkjet would be a little bit better aggressively and give it a tool to pressure people at a distance when compared to Ultra Stamp. The other two Spray Shooters will be picked out by Ant, a support player on Starburst. Burst Bombs would be great for even more combo potential, you've already heard this a billion times, and 10 missiles would be even more spammable than Ink Armor already is. Arrow Spray would of course also benefit from Burst Bombs as a sub and Ink Armor as a special weapon, being really good good to have more fighting options, since you can use the armor to refill your ink tank and fight with the burst bombs. Second to last class up are the semi-automatics, which will be picked out by Obito from Team Radiance. Splat bombs are nice with L3 as the quicker detonation makes it easier to combo with a 1 burst from the main weapon, and it also allows you to do the bubble combo, as bubble lure will replace the special. L3 has an insane turf output, so being able to get frequent bubble combos along with a reliable combo sub just gives it a ton of options. H3 will be getting a more supportive aggressive option, Fizzy Bomb being useful for painting at a distance or comboing with the main weapon, while Suction Launcher can be used again both as a tool to push in or to output insane paint, especially when combined with the sub and main weapon. Finally, Biscuit from FT1 picking out the Squeezer kit will keep the foil one, as Splat Bomb is great for comboing with a potential 2-shot and keeping that infamous bubble blower combo as a major threat. Finally is the Shooters picked up by Kiver, who's been on both Radiance and Kraken Paradise. The Splat Bomb and Splat Bomb Launcher will give it very quick options to burst people down or push very aggressively with the faster explosion times. Splatter Shot will get Splat Bomb since it works pretty well for it, but the special will be replaced by Booyah Bomb. This could be useful for both survivability and a tool to push back in, and honestly reminds me a lot of the Splatoon 1 Wasabi Splatter Shot with Ink Strike. And to no one's surprise, the Kensa 52 kit will stay, as the wall is useful for both painting further and being more aggressive or defensive, and Booyah adds to that immense survivability. Ends Up will get Splat Bomb for some helpful aggressive combo potential, allowing the weapon to play both supportively and aggressively. Splattershot Pro and 96 will both be picked out by Dude, with Burst Bomb and Suction Launcher being picked for the Pro. Honestly, this one reminds me of the Berry Splattershot Pro, as Suction Launcher is really nice to give it some versatility, but Burst Bomb is an even better tool as a nice combo sub for the weapon. 96 will get Burst Bomb as an insane combo sub when you run a little bit of MPU damage up, Antenna Missiles to displace more longer range threats or get a little bit of extra damage for that one shot. Brian will be ramping up our final weapon with Splat Bomb for the Jet. While Burst Bomb's nice for it, Jet's fairly mobile, so the bomb could be a bit more useful. And Antenna Missiles, because as we all know, Jet is great at outputting an insanely large quantity of them. Well, that was a long list, but to wrap things up, let's go over some stats. First up, the most used sub-weapon, which to literally no one's surprise who's watched this video in its entirety, is Burst Bomb. It was picked 24 times out of the 43 weapons, which is more than half. Specials were a lot closer, but Antenna Missiles was the most picked one at 11 out of 43, or just about 25%. There were actually 5 weapons picked that already had their quote perfect kit, being the Kensa 52 Gal, Foil Squeezer, Bamboo Mach 1, Firefin Splat Charger, and the Vanilla Tri-Slosher. On the sadder and final stat I want to give, there were some sub and special weapons that did not get picked whatsoever. Some odd ones like Stingray that were likely just a bit more outclassed by Antenna Missiles, but also some rather unfortunate ones like Point Sensor. And of course Splashdown. Well, this has been an interesting list. I hope you enjoyed. Be sure to let me know your thoughts below if you want to see this series again when Splatoon 3 rolls around, and I'll see you all in a future video.